I need your input, guys. In my X-h1 video, you found out I kept an extra $2,000 after weighing out the pros and cons with Fuji's X-h2S, and I've decided to start building out a handheld rig. I've been a photographer long enough to know that video is a whole different ballgame, but I want to see how much I can squeeze out of this X-h1 and try to offer a unique perspective to my clients. I want to go over what I currently have and why, what I do and don't like about it, and what I'm thinking of upgrading to in the future. Now, I don't know everything about video production, guys, but I have been getting a lot of contracts lately that I just stopped saying no to. And as a photographer with 10 years of photography experience, I wanted to transfer over as many skills as possible to the videography world. A lot of this is not really comparable to full-time filmmakers, by example, but that is where I'm drawing inspiration from and trying to piece together what I think would work for my workflow and at the same time benefit my clients in the process. One of the things I like the most about shooting with a handheld rig like this is just how quickly I can move up and down, left and right, and I can keep up with action that's happening, whether it's skating or music videos or anything that's kind of fast-paced, fast-moving. I'm not using this to do a tracking shot, walking behind someone really slowly, trying to make sure everything is super even, but I am gonna use this when I can be up close in someone's face and try to go up to their face, down to their feet, down to what they're holding in their hands, just moving the camera around and getting some slightly different perspectives. A great thing about shooting with a handheld rig versus a gimbal is the ease of changing lenses without having to rebalance everything. I can very easily put on the 50 to 140 on this or a super tiny pancake lens and not have to change any of the ergonomics. For the most part, the feel of this in your hands is going to be the same whether you have a huge lens or a small lens. Whereas with this, you're much more limited. You might not be able to maybe run a battery grip or run larger lenses because they'll interfere with some of the motions of the gimbal. One thing I do notice when working with a gimbal is that sure, you can make sure that your lines are parallel, everything is straight all the time, but you get that very robotic left, right, up, down feel that's just not the way we would be walking through a room or experiencing an event or whatever. The gimbals tend to have a hard time keeping up with your motions, especially if you're moving in an erratic way. I want to be able to jerk the camera around. I want to be able to go this way and then quickly be able to shoot the different parts of the scene without having any jerky robotic movements in the process. This is such a secondary thing, but I really love the handle, just for the sake of it being a handle and an easy way to grab the camera on set, move it around. It's so quick to attach, it's very sturdy, it gives you plenty of mobility, you can move around very easily, it's rock solid on there. And then when I'm actually filming, if I need to replicate like a shoulder mount situation or something like a tripod with a little bit of shake, natural sway to it, I'll usually just kind of hold this up against my chest. Either I can hold it like this with the handle, or I put my hands up on this bar on the side and I can just look side to side, look up and down. And this way, especially with the IBIS on and the IS on the lens as well, this is a very easy and simple way to just kind of film something very steady, very sturdy, and not have a whole bunch of additional equipment with you. You're literally just bringing the camera. Sure, there's a few little things on here, but for the most part, it really is just like having a camera in your hands. So it doesn't feel as cumbersome. It gives you a little bit more access to what you're trying to do. One of the things I do enjoy shooting with the cage and the rig in general is the multiple mounting options that I can get, mostly for my microphones. This is the way I usually like to have it set up right here, but I can very easily kind of take this off, maybe put it up here or on any of the other mounts on the handle or on this side, and then it opens me up this front-facing hot shoe mount where I can just put the mic that's here on my shoulder and point it forward so I can get kind of like an on-camera mic. Obviously, it's not ideal for a small lav-style mic like these Rode mics, but it does work in a pinch. It works plenty fine. So when I'm holding my camera like this, I am very mindful of the cables that are right here, and I wouldn't be against the idea of getting a left-handed grip over here on the left side, because I think it would widen my stance, maybe make me a little bit more sturdy as well, and at the same time it would help me separate my hand from the cables so that I know for sure that I'm not knocking them out or breaking the connector plate in the first place. The monitor itself is just something I had lying around. It works. It shows me what I'm filming in a much larger, easier to see way, and I can also kind of orient it wherever I need it depending on how I'm holding the camera, whether it's above me or to the side. It is nice to be able to have just a dedicated monitor that I can put on any hot shoe and put it in any orientation, whether I'm shooting vertical or horizontal. I can move the handle, I can swap some things around so that I can very easily hold it this way, have the monitor facing me, and I can shoot vertical footage for a lot of my clients, which is not a trend, but is definitely needed nowadays. Because I can shoot 4K on the X-h1, it is possible to shoot wide and then select vertical frames and still get a nice high enough resolution for any kind of social media stuff. But it is nice to be able to very quickly and easily actually shoot vertical content and have, you know, the whole frame in your shot. So one of the things I really dislike about this cage, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a small rig cage for this camera. It does exist, the part number does exist. I just wasn't able to find it anywhere online. For the most part, this universal cage does work really well. It does everything I need it to do. The only thing that kind of bums me out is that the battery doesn't come out unless I slightly wiggle the camera out of the cage. So I'll show you guys in some B-roll right here, but essentially the battery gets stuck on this little flywheel here and just kind of bothers me because I have to, it adds an extra couple seconds to the battery switch process, which is furthering my desire to shoot with an external battery, like a V-mount battery. I'm not too afraid of the additional weight because I think with a handheld rig, additional weight helps get rid of those micro little shakes. It gives you a little bit more stability in your motions. I'm just not sure if the additional time and setup and, you know, the extra $400 or $500 to the cost of the overall rig is worth getting a battery for the all-day battery life when I can just keep swapping out fresh little Fuji batteries. If you guys are using V-mount batteries, please let me know your experience with them, if you enjoy them, if you think it's a necessity to your rig in general, because I'm still new to videography, this is new for me. I just wanna weigh out the options before committing to the purchase. I don't often have to shoot for very extended periods of time, so that's why it's kind of like not a necessity per se for me. I have a good handful of Fuji branded batteries that should give me plenty of hours of battery life for this guy, but at the same time, I know that I'm gonna have to swap out batteries and hopefully that doesn't interfere during a part of the event I needed to be capturing. For the most part, I think this gets the job 99% of the way there. Maybe a little bit more stability would be nice. Maybe a shoulder rig would be nice eventually. But yeah, I do quite like this transition. For an extra couple $100 to the camera, this allows me to really kind of focus in on my video work and produce something a little bit more high quality. So instead of spending the extra $2,000 from my X-h1 versus X-h2S video, I'm able to reappropriate some of this money towards building a rig to offer a unique perspective to my clients. It doesn't mean I can't use my gimbal anymore and it's one or the other, but I do primarily reach for this now, and I've been consistently happy with the shots, whereas you would expect that with a gimbal, you're always happy with what you get, but I don't know, I've just had really bad experiences with it over the years, and I know it's user error, but I'm okay with that. Anyway, that's it for this week. Let me know if you prefer using a gimbal or if you have experience shooting handheld video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.